The Boy Sadler, Biscuits, by Chris Sadler. How you diddling, old partners? I know we were talking the other day, weren't we? Oh well, maybe not. Must have been someone else. Sure it was you, though. Anyway, hey-ho. You know my pal Diesel? Of course you do. A stringy fella. Looks like an upright weasel. My best pal. A strange one, but got a heart of gold. 25 carat. Known him for years. Anyway, Diesel. Actually, don't ask me how he got his name. He always said it was after his favourite drink, but nobody believes that. All I'm saying is nowadays he's an enthusiastic non-smoker. But, hey. Anyway, Diesel, gosh bless him, he does love a chat, a drink, and a biscuit. We meet up now and again, and this week it was for a coffee. The Mrs. Dangerous had got fed up with me being at home. Not sure why. She didn't elaborate, but just suggested it might be a good idea to remove myself from the house for a while. That seems to happen a lot these days. Anyway, so I gave Diesel a ring, and he agreed to meet me for a coffee in Gifflin St Giles, just up the road from us here in Little Gifflin. Gifflin St Giles is that small market town in North Norfolk, bit posh, the kind of town where you're never more than 5 yards away from an art gallery or a bespoke hat. Lovely people though, always lovely there, but woe betide you if you try and talk to them or want to buy something useful, like a pint of milk or loaf of bread. Hey ho, there's even a cheese emporium there, for Daisy's sake. A cheese emporium! Who knew there were so many types of cheese? There are only 2 types of cheese in the world as far as I'm concerned. Yellow cheese and orange cheese. I prefer yellow, although I'll go as far as a stinky one at a push. Maybe Christmas. I've always felt a bit out of place in Gifflin St Giles. It's a funny place. Perfectly fine, but Primark doesn't go down well there, if you know what I mean. And even if you could buy baked beans there, they'd have a Harrods label on them. Anyway, Diesel said he'd got something to tell me, biscuit related. Perhaps he's got digestive crumbs in his clutch. Again, Datsuns are a nightmare for that. So I agreed to meet him at Beans, the least fancy and cheapest coffee shop in town. It's still got all the wooden floors, the hissing gizmos and dismissive staff, but at least you know the equipment is ethically sourced. Under cover of dark from a skip, probably. Bankrupt stock is kind of recycling, I suppose. Anyway, we were sat by a small table by the window, watching the tourists snouting in Barnum and Lakers over the road. There was just 2 cappuccinos, a sugar bowl and 2 empty biscuit wrappers between us. Suddenly the mood changed. Diesel paused, looked across the table at me with an earnest expression on his face. Then he very deliberately and methodically hoovered up the remaining ginger nut crumbs from his plate. He cleared his throat. "I've got a theory," he said. "Really?" I said. "Yes," he said. "A theory about neighbourhood dynamics and biscuits." "Really?" I said, again. "Yes," he said. "It's called the hierarchy of biscuits." "I'm really glad I know you," I said. "Take your custard cream," he said, ignoring me. I sighed and nodded. "Your custard cream," he said. "That's your benchmark biscuit, your standard, everyday biscuit. You can trust a custard cream. See, if you went round your neighbours for a brew and he offered you a custard cream, that would instantly outline and define your neighbour-neighbour relationship. The status quo would be laid out right in front of you, possibly on a doily. Offering you a custard cream would mean he'd be perfectly happy to say hello to you in the street, but would stop short of lending you his lawnmower. You'd need a bourbon or a chocolate digestive for that. And if he offered you a rich tea, you know he was the one that wrote that rude message in the snow on the bonnet of your car last Christmas. On the other hand, if there were chocolate hobnobs on the table, he'd probably let you take out his wife dancing." We drained our cups and paid Deirdre at the counter. On the way out, Diesel delved into his jacket and brought out a package. He winked at me and said, "By the way, you know Mrs. Bruckner at number 23? I nodded. "Well," he said, showing me the packet of chocolate hobnobs, "she's signed up for tango lessons." Ciao altogether.